Our boy MAYURI this episode, guys. Bruh. Showcasing why he's the mad scientist of the Soul Society. If you guys asked me who I would want to fight the least out of all of the captains in Bleach, it's easily MAYURI. Most people would say, no, I don't want to fight Kenpachi. Bruh, I'd take Kenpachi any day of the week over fighting someone like MAYURI. Absolutely not. Because with Kenpachi, you know just straight up, oh, I'm going to get cut. I'm going to die. With MAYURI, you're going to become a test subject. He's going to put you in some grueling, unending torture. And I don't like that idea. What a crazy episode we had today, guys. I think it's even funnier that we also get that little bit with Byakuya today, where he got to experience the power of love, guys. Pretty fun episode of Bleach today, so let's just get straight into it and talk about Bleach 1000-Year Blood War, episode 10 today. So our episode begins immediately where our last one left off, with Hitsugaya supposedly rising from the dead, as he immediately attacks Ikkaku and Umichika, costing Ikkaku one of his legs, as he gets a nice little new hole put straight in his chest. As Umichika does come to his rescue, but he gets kneed in the gut with an ice spear, stabbed, and slashed across the chest here. It's brutal. As we suddenly hear, interesting. Even though you're a corpse, you can move as if you are still alive. Could it be that you were turned into a zombie right before you died? As Giselle says, bingo! If I turn them into zombies before they die, the cells are still fresh, so they're more nimble. Oh, plus their mind perishes, so it's easier to control them. As MAYURI says, ha! That's quite laughable. And adds, let me ask you this. Where's the fun in controlling those without a mind of their own? And it's here as our most flamboyant of our Ankars approaches Hitsugaya. He says, now that I've defeated that girl, is this boy going to be my next opponent? A very sus line coming from him. As MAYURI shouts, you fool! Step away! But it's too late as Hitsugaya casually cuts him up. As MAYURI tells him flat out, you fool! Couldn't you tell that he's beyond your capabilities? You're from the original show. You're not beating 1000-Year Blood War Hitsugaya. As punishment, I'll leave you dying there. As for you, Captain Hitsugaya, I'm afraid I can't have you going around killing my best test subjects. As one whose flesh is wrapped in good manners rather than skin, it is not in my nature to harm another without their consent. So, Captain, there are several drugs that I want to test on you. You'll take them now, won't you? And don't worry, naturally, they're for the sake of the Sarate. As we get our title card, Marching Out the Zombies 2. And it's here, talking's done, as we immediately get into the action. As we see Hitsugaya just start laying into MAYURI right here. As MAYURI says, oh, are you puzzled by how someone who's holed up in his lab all this time can predict your strikes, Captain? You see, I implemented a sensor in Asisoji's Jizo the other day. And because of it, it will automatically block all of your strikes. Mighty convenient attachment to your sword, by the way. You'd think he put it on everyone's sword, but I guess not. As Hitsugaya tries to kick him, and MAYURI says, ha! From what I just said, I'm sure you thought of striking me with something other than a blade. Didn't you think that perhaps I was baiting you into striking me with something other than your sword? But it's here things get serious, as Hitsugaya uses his Bankai right here, freezing MAYURI's sword, cutting him in half, and then piercing him through the heart. As he says, Captain Hitsugaya, But all of a sudden, in this moment, we go back to our previous scene, as Hitsugaya gets a case of deja vu. And as our scene plays out before, Hitsugaya says, "What's going on here?" As Mayuri says, "Ha! You can hold a conversation! This is a new discovery." As Hitsugaya uses his Bankai again, freezes Mayuri solid, and kills him again. But yet again, we reset. And this time, Hitsugaya is a little concerned. As Mayuri says, "What's this? Your brain is becoming aware, I see." "Greetings, Captain Hitsugaya. How many nows has it been?" "You see, all of my drugs give a new and wonderful experience to their users. It bestows them with power, sensation, reaction, and courage beyond human comprehension. And to you, I gave the power to see the past." And it's here Mayuri starts explaining that every time you cross a certain point of the battle, you return to a moment in the past. And that point is when you kill me. In other words, if you do not kill me, then your future will continue on forever. But if you do kill me, then your future ceases in that moment. Quite a predicament, isn't it? You're unable to move forward unless you defeat your enemy. Yet, once you defeat him, you fall backward. However, the imperfection of this drug is that it only works on the hippocampus of the brain, which controls your short-term memory. And because of this, the user's unable to remember the number of times they return to the past. And once they go back to the past over 10 times, they experience a serious side effect. As we see Hitsugaya completely crumble over right here and topple. As Mayuri starts explaining to him that the part of your brain that controls your equilibrium becomes completely paralyzed for 30 seconds. Being the kind-hearted person you are, Captain, I'm sure you have no issue being paralyzed for 30 seconds. Oh, but this can be quite fatal if it takes place during combat. Oh wait, we're in that now. And it's here just to mind-fuck him even more. Mayuri says, "Let me ask you a question. When did I administer the drug to you? You can give me your answer in the past." As Mayuri stabs Hitsugaya through the throat, as we hear "Asi Soji Jizo." As he adds, "In addition to your equilibrium, your limbs will be completely paralyzed as well. You know, having to administer this drug to someone like you, it pains me greatly." As Hitsugaya literally screams for him not to do it. As Mayuri says, "At least you can resist with words. That is somewhat comforting." As he stabs him in the neck. And our fight's done. See guys, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. I don't want to deal with any shit like this while I'm fighting someone. Just straight up cut me in half if you're gonna beat me. I don't need any of this torture shit that Mayuri does. Fuck that. That sounds awful. I'm no guinea pig. But it's here all of a sudden. We see our fight might not be over just yet. As Mayuri says, 2 captains and a lieutenant, all turned into corpses. So pitiful it's not even funny. As he says, "You're interrupting my follow-up observation. Take care of them as you see fit, will you?" As we see, it's a good old-fashioned zombie-on-zombie brawl. But that's enough of that for right now, because it's here. We're going to get a little bit of love in the air. Because it's here we transition to Byakuya just wrecking house against the Quincy's. He's being jumped by 3 separate Stern Ritters right here, and he is wrecking all of them. As Stern Rider N says, "I will defeat you, and then Ichigo Kurosaki, so that I can go and join His Majesty's side." As we get a Volt Stern Ditch versus Bankai duel. And it's here as he charges forward with his bullet. He's met with Zenbone Sakura, Kageyoshi. And well, the rest should be obvious. He gets blown back. As we see Byakuya standing over 3 defeated Quincy members himself. As we just hear, they're all so pathetic. As Stern Rider P says, well, considering our abilities, I think it makes sense that we're the only ones left. As Stern Rider Z suddenly says, wait, where the hell did PP go? The playing field would be more even with his powers. As Stern Rider P says, no, he's gross. We can manage without him. Can confirm, guys. He's pretty damn gross. But Stern Rider G says, puke or not, he's better than nothing. And it's here we see Shuhei suddenly appear on the battlefield as he realizes, damn, you've already taken down 3 of them, Captain Kutsuki. This man defeated 3 while I defeated only 1. I suck. But it's here all of a sudden, he suddenly starts attacking Byakuya, and he himself doesn't understand why. As Byakuya asks, why are you attacking me? Are you being controlled by the enemy? As he says, no, it's me, honest. And we hear Stern Rider G say, he's here. As Shuhei says, I'm simply doing what Master PP wants. And as we get into our next scene, guys, how dare they use that incredible music that Shinji had for this fucking guy? How dare they? As we suddenly hear, one heart, one body, one glance by my eyes, and your heart will be split in 2. And they will both belong to me as one. As we meet Stern Ritter L, PP, the love is here. As he shoots a beam of love at Stern Rider P, she falls head over heels and ends up socking Stern Rider G. As Stern Ritter L says, don't fight over me just cause you love me, baby girls. And as Shuhei and Byakuya continue fighting, Stern Rider L says, you see, all battles happen out of love. Where there is no love, there is no battles, baby. That's why battles are so sad. And that is what makes them so damn beautiful. As Byakuya quickly takes out Shuhei and says, are you done with your speech? As he says, you're running your mouth about love, but simply put, you're just controlling people. Which means that cutting down the puppeteer will sever the strings from the puppets. And as their fight begins, he starts shooting his love all over Byakuya. As Byakuya cuts one of his attacks with his sword and says, it seems that your so-called love cannot cut things without souls. As Stern Ritter L just laughs and says, if you have it all figured out, then why did you block my attack with your Zanpakuto toe? As all of a sudden, Byakuya's own sword attacks him. As Stern Ritter L says, I know that Zanpakuto toes have souls, baby. That's why I didn't take a Bankai from any of you during the last battle. Stealing Zanpakuto toes with souls is something I can do at any time. As Byakuya actually chucks his sword right here. As L says, why would you let it go? You just presented me with an opportunity. An opportunity for a Soul Reaper who loves me to use a weapon who loves me. You see, love makes you overcome any challenge, babe. It drives you to accomplish your goals. As we suddenly see Shuhei wielding Byakuya's sword try to attack him. As Byakuya says, I can only defend against a Zanpakuto with just Hakuda for only so long. It was foolish of me to let go of Zenbone Sakura. And I'm just sitting here like, no shit, why would you throw your sword? As Stern Ritter L hits him with his love beam, but it does nothing as he says, damn boy, is there no love in your heart? I just can't forgive you for rejecting my love. It's absolutely unforgivable. As he uses his Volt Stern ditch here and becomes the most repulsive thing I've seen this entire week. Like literally, my God, my eyeballs here. as he uses his love rope attack and punctures Byakuya. As he tells Shuhei, don't kill him. I've decided to kill him with my own love. As he literally regurgitates his bow and arrow. But all of a sudden, he gets sent flying. As we see, it's by some zombies? Question mark? As they quickly take out Shuhei as well. And it's here all of a sudden, we just hear, well, 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 what a perfect time to come across an enemy. This is just what I needed to test the performance of my Kurasuchi Corpse unit. As Byakuya said, so this is your doing. Like, no shit, Byakuya, who the hell else is raising zombies in the Soul Society? Besides Yamamoto, of course. And as we transition back to our previous scene, we see the Arrancar actually made quick work of the zombie Soul Reapers, which seems kind of wild to me, low-key, but whatever. As Mayuri says, I had mixed the drug into the bodily fluids of the Arrancars. I'm sure you thoroughly enjoyed being sprayed with their blood. As they literally try to control him with it, and he says, don't bother. My body has a tolerance for all the drugs that I create. As Mayuri tells the zombies, don't worry, I'll erase your pain shortly. As he says, the amount of blood needed to turn someone into a zombie depends on their spiritual pressure. If their spiritual pressure is low, a single drop of blood reaching their brain will most likely turn them all into zombies. However, if their spiritual pressure is high, the intruding blood must multiply in their heart before traveling to the rest of the body to turn them into a zombie. That's why the captains and lieutenants have a dark red tinge on their skin. Am I wrong, zombie girl? As Gaselli looks heated. He hit the nail on the head. As Mayuri tells her, my drug alters the composition of that blood. As he adds, I have in my possession the blood samples of every Soul Reaper in the Serite. You see, my drug replaces any foreign blood with a blood-like substance I've created. As Gaselli says, I have no idea what you're talking about. Mayuri says, I doubt you would. I'll jump right to the conclusion then. By ingesting this drug, your zombies become my zombies. And that's when it finally hits her. That she loses. As we see, she gets run through with a sword here. And as we transition back to Byakuya, he says, so that's what happened, huh? And adds, you could have let them die if you wanted to. Why toy with their lives by making them zombies? As Mayuri says, as usual, we have a difference of opinion. Don't you think it's the duty of the 13 court guard squads to protect the Serite, even in death? As Byakuya says, that's a rationalization and you know it. As Mayuri says, say what you want, bitch. You know I'm right here. And as we see Sternritter L try to do something here, he just starts getting his shit pushed in. As Mayuri says, were you not listening to me? My zombies don't understand love. As Sternritter L quite literally gets his shit pushed in here. Good God. And as he gets sent flying through a building, we see Latoto is there waiting for him. And he realizes he's fucked. As he says, I'm glad to see you doing well, baby girl. But we are long past that working. As she says, you tried killing us by pitting us against each other. I'm sure you know how to take responsibility for that. Right? And let's just say, guys, she's not called the Gluttony for nothing. And as we transition to our final scene of the episode, we see that Yuhabaha has finally made it to the Soul King Palace. And with that, our episode ends. This episode was just Mayuri being an absolute menace, guys. My lord. I love him as a character, but boy, is he someone I would not want to be around in real life. I'll tell you that. Mayuri's that one weird guy that's always like in the group, but he's off on his own in the corner, mumbling to himself. I would never want to fight him. But we got to see the mad scientists of the Soul Society on full display this episode, and it was really fun. And next week, with Bach at the Soul Palace soon, oh, we're going to see some wild shit, guys. Be hyped for that, because I am. But let me know your thoughts on this love-filled episode down in the comments, because I would love to hear about it. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and I will see you guys next time. Deuces.